Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mo again. So let's continue with user account management. That's what I'm going to do right now. Let me go ahead and create another department so I can do my own testing. So watch this. I'm going to right click, new organizational unit. Remember, these are organizational units. We don't call them containers. Containers are like built in computers. See, they're actually folders, and there's a difference between an OU and an actual container. So let's make sure we actually understand that. Okay, so I'm going to call this tech, let's say. All right, just tech, and of course, protect it against deletion. I'm going to go ahead and create few user accounts. So I'm going to click on the one face, and I'm going to call this T1. All right, logon name is T1. Next, and remove the check mark and finish. And I'm going to create another user account, which is T2. Right, I'm going to create a few users over here, and you'll see why and remove the check mark from the box and finish T3, right? And next, and remove the check mark and finish and T4. Now, what I'm about to show you is probably not very common at the moment because everybody's most likely they have a laptop. Well, let's say there's still desktops inside the environment, and you have some users say, if I use another computer when I log in, why I don't get my same settings? I want to get my same actual settings. That's what a profile is. A user profile is user settings. Watch this. I'm not going to do a profile yet. So I'm going to go to one of my first machines and I'm going to log on as T1. Watch this. Here's T1. All right. And let me log on. That's T1. What I'm going to do in the meantime, I'm going to go to my second server and join it to the domain because it's going to be a file server and you'll see what it's going to be used for. So let me just take a look and make sure if I have the right network settings, if I'm pointing to the right DNS server. Right, so let's take a look and see. This looks good. All right, I should be able to join the domain. So it's going to be a member server, right? Domain, and it's called Udemy at local. And there we go. Authentication is there. That's a good sign. Administrator and the password. And we're actually should be welcomed soon. All right. And this will change to just Udemy. All right. Now watch this. So this is good. Close and restart. Perfect. We'll be using this later on in this lecture actually. So let me just go ahead and see what I have here on this first client itself. Make a few folders on my desktop just to show you what's actually going to happen. So watch this. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this test one. All right. Another folder, test two. And I'm going to put a file in each folder over here. Right. Let's say test one. I'm just going to write random stuff. We're not going to run a story over here. All right. And let me close this out and test two and create a text document called test two. Looks like it did not actually type. All right. Let me go. So right click, rename to test two, and I'm going to run a few things in here. There we go. So I just made a minor change. If I right click over here and I could say, you know what, let me take a look and see some things that I could actually change over here, right? I mean, I can modify a few things over here, right? What I want to do is, let me just right click and choose personalize, right? And change, let's say the background to something different. Can I actually do that? It looks like because it's a trial version, it's not, let me see, themes, background. All this is grayed out because it's a trial version, right? I can't, it doesn't look like, let me see which images I could actually use over here. I mean, it doesn't have to be this. It could be anything else, actually. So this is actually normal. The background itself is actually normal. I could just create. I need to activate before I can personalize. You see this? So you know what? These folders are actually fine. This will prove a point to us over here, right? So this is actually fine as you see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign out and go to my second 10 machine and sign on as T1. Watch this. Other user and T1. I'm not going to see the same configuration. I just have two folders. But as I said, it could be the background screensaver, it could be anything. But since it's a trial version, we're limited to what things we can actually do. We could still test the profile with those actual folders themselves. Let me just show you. So a user profile is user settings, right? User settings. Guess what? I'm not going to see the same configuration, right? Just to let you know, it's not going to actually happen. And because by default the profile is local, it's not roaming. It doesn't roam with you anywhere you actually go. All right. And I want to show you how I could actually create a roaming profile. It should be coming up soon. Give it a few seconds. Let me know if you guys have any questions. All right, let's see. So look, I don't actually have the same configuration. This is a local profile, so that's not good. See, by default, all the profiles are actually local. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to my domain controller, double click T2, go to the profile tab and profile path. Where am I going to be saving this? Well, I have my second server. Huh. Why do you think I have a member server? Remember, you don't put anything on your domain controller except for what? Just DNS. So I'm going to log in to me/administrator. I have to actually put this right over here because if I don't, it's going to log in locally and then the password. I should be fine. So I'm going to create a shared folder where the profile is going to be actually saved. And that's what my file server right now is going to actually do. All right. So let's see that. Give it a few seconds. Okay. So watch this. Let's give this an actual moment. And I'm going to go to my C drive, right? And I'm going to create a folder and call it profiles, just like this. And I'm going to share the folder, which means users will be writing to this folder over the network. Advanced sharing, share this folder, and they have to be able to write to it, which means I need to give them full control. Then okay, then okay, then I'm going to click on OK. So this is a good sign. See, this is the network path, the UNC path, Universal Naming Convention, and then close. All right. So check this out right now. Let me close this out of the way. So nothing is actually under here right now, right? Remember, there's nothing. So I'm going to go back here to T2. I'm going to do this whack whack. It put the actual server name or the IP address itself of the server. So I'm going to say, since DNS is there, why not put the name 2019-2, then slash what? Profiles, then slash the username, which is T2. Then I'm going to apply this, then apply. Now watch this. I'm going to make sure both are actually logged off, right? Good. Let me go to the first 10 machine and log on as T2. And watch this. Let's give this a moment so you can see how this actually works for us. I'm not going to use the second 10 machine. I'm going to assume that I'm actually on one desktop right now. And this desktop, I'm just going to make minor changes, right? That's what I'm actually going to do. Just minor changes, a few folders, files, shortcuts, right? Just minor changes. See if they actually get saved when I log into the second client with the same user account. That's what I want to actually look into and see how this actually works for us. Okay, it's almost there, right? Almost there, as you see. So let's give it a few moments and see how this works for us. So again, if I change the screensaver, if I change anything, it will copy it too. It's a user profile is user settings, just user settings. Let's remember that. It's only user information, right? So it's there. Good. And let me go ahead and make some changes here. So I'm going to right click. Let me just go ahead. So I do have something like this. So let me see if I actually, this is unpinned from the taskbar, right? It's not pinned anymore. If I right click and I say new folder, right? And I'm going to call this test. Well, it looks like it didn't do it, all right? Test one and another folder, test two. All right. And let me go ahead and create, let's say a bitmap limit and call it testing. All right. Just a few things over here, as you see, right? You see, I'm just creating random stuff over here. These are actually fine. And if I right click and I do a sign out, it should right over the network. So if I go to my second server, there you go. You see that? It's actually perfect. This is good. So let me go back and log into the same machine. Let me just show you. This is fine. This is not testing it, right? I just want to verify that the information is actually still there. So let's give it a moment and log off again. So this is actually good. So I'm going to sign out. Then I'm going to go to my second 10 machine. And guess what? I'm going to see the same configuration right now. So let me go ahead, log on as T2 and see what's going to happen right now. Give it a few seconds, and I should have the same actual configuration on the desktop. All right. Let's see. It looks like, anyway, it's the first time that you log in with it. So it's going to be generating a new profile, right? Which is going to be copied from the server itself. There you go. Look, the edge is not pinned, and I got the same configuration. See, guys, this is a roaming profile, which is user settings. Okay. I want to show you something different right now. Let me go back to T3 and I'm going to do it for T3 and T4. This time, I want to talk about a home directory. And same thing, I have to create a share right over here and call it home. Are you using home directories today at work? Things are actually in the cloud. You could be using Google Drive for desktop, Microsoft OneDrive. But let's say you're looking for security, you want everything on premises. I'm going to share this, right? Watch this. Sharing. A home directory is for users' data. A profile is user settings. Okay. So there's a difference between them. And here's the actual path. Okay. Nothing is actually under here. And it's going to map a network drive automatically on the client side. So let me minimize this. I'm going to double click T3 and T4. Watch this. If I want to do something multiple for multiple accounts, I can highlight them. I'm going to show you this later too. And if I go properties, I go to the profile, home folder, connect, and it's going to map this drive. I could use any drive itself. Let's say T. Whack, whack. The actual server name, which is W2019-2 slash home slash, I don't put the username, I put percent sign. And then I type the word username and then percent sign, and automatically is going to fill it in. So now if I double click T3, profile, it puts it in for me. See that T3? See, that's a shortcut. And T4 profile, it puts it in for me. Okay, how does this work? Well, on one machine, I'm going to log in as T3 just to show you. Other user, T3. And another computer, I'm going to log in as T4. So let me just sign out and sign on as T4. Give it a few seconds and see how this actually works for us. It's going to map a network drive, and that's what I instruct my employees. That's where they're going to be dumping their actual data. So T4, and let me log on. Let's give it a moment and see how this actually works for us. It should map a network drive. I should see that under my actual system, and I chose the network drive to be the T drive. All right. Let me go to my first one. This one should be logging on first, so it's going to be ready in a few seconds. See how this actually works for us. All right, it's almost there. All right, almost there. So let's give this a few more moments. It's just generating the actual profile right now. That's what it's doing. When it says almost there, it's actually there. All right. So instead of the users putting all their data on their local machine, I don't have to be concerned about backing up their system. It's going to map a network drive right over here. And there you go. See that? And that's where I put my actual data under this drive, which means this will be linked to the second server, which is my file server under the home directory. And same thing over here. Watch this. This is going to have its own local drive too, right over here. You see that? That's how I get access. And this is actually located on the second server. So look, under home, I see two folders. Whatever T3 does will be stored under T3. Whatever T4 does will be stored under T4. That's how it works. That's what a home directory is. So it's actually for what? Users' data. That's basically a home directory, right? They store their data right over here. That's what a home, but as I said, is not something very common that you'll be actually using because today you're using Google Drive for desktop and all that. Well, that's for this lecture, and we'll be continuing with more, right? I mean, I could actually put information here if I want. Let me just show you, let's say music, all right? Looks like it's not typing. This folder is empty. Let's say this one has music, right? And whatever I put here will be actually linked to the share, which is actually called home. That's all the information that is actually going to be there. So, as I said, it's not something common that you would actually see, right? And each one is independent from the other. That's the thing. It looks like it's just not responding, right? It's just actually taken a while to actually sync. But as you see, if I check my server, I have the information over here for T3 and T4, as you see, right? So that's one thing to me. It looks like I just probably need a reset or something. But that's a home directory, as you see, right? Look, see music, and let's say this is called videos, right? Watch this. So let's see which user is this account. Okay, so if I go back to my server, I could actually see T3 has what? Music. T4 has videos. You see that? That's what I just wanted to show you. So that's for this lecture, and we'll be continuing with more user account management in our next lecture. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions. All right, we'll see you guys in a moment. All right, then, everybody. Bye.